go across the pond to see players and peeps like you, Adam, as we go now into it. All of what's left is about seeding, where you're going to be for the open bracket, and then as it evolves over that DreamHack weekend. Seen a lot of great play overall. Everyone's showing up, and honestly, are you surprised with anyone that didn't make it into this upper four right now?
Going forward, I think, you know, there's a month between now and the event, so there's plenty of things for teams to look at, to think about, to go for. And while Shopify Rebellion are waiting for us in the grand final right now, we've still got some matches at hand today to go before we get ourselves there, haven't we?
Well, we're going to kick off that with a lower semifinal. Remember, you have all the points and all the seeding, and that will go through all the DreamHack events, and especially the opens and the qualifiers. But for everyone that's outside the top four, that's where the points matter. The top four finishing today will be your top four in order of the seeds that they get going to that event in Birmingham. So let's kick it off with Lattice Oddball. Everyone loves to play it outside of ice. You hit that with some good old ramp play, and then everyone hits to that window. After that, we're going to hit some Slayer on live fire. We're going to see that a lot yesterday. And then Empyrean, some good old pit CTF at minimum, going to be our first three maps. Koth, Vacancy, which was played very recently, and then some Recharge Slayer as necessary. Luminon Gaming with Inconceivable right across from them. You know that Inconceivable is used to getting somewhere into that top two. Got to feel like they have quite the task in front of them to take on Inconceivable, who probably wants to get back there again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not been too much for a long day here, but you know, the players on Inconceivable are well-known players. They have put the work in, but then again, you know, Luminon as well, Trippy, and Towlek, and Precision, and like all of them. So it really is at this point where, you know, you've been through the whole day, you're thinking about all the matches you played, you're in the losers bracket, you really want to set a strong motion going into the next month or so of work before you hit that event. So really at the moment, you know, starting off with Lattice Ball as well, this is really going to set the tone, because Lattice is so quick, so punishing, the spawns are all over the place, as everyone knows, and that ball can get some really annoying positions.
I feel like my standout players, especially to try and navigate this this icy landscape of this first map, will be both Descendant as well as Sab. I feel like those two have really been showing up in big, kind of impactful and pressuring ways to make teams uncomfortable. Obviously, both sides just filled to the brim with talent, but those two just kind of stand out to me, especially with the movement that we saw very recently with Sabinator coming over to this Inconceivable squad. So I want to see how that kind of floats with them. Luminon Gaming, love that they're still kind of pushing the envelope. Would love to see that them kind of make a re-entry into that big stage, that grand final position. But on the other end, whoever wins this matchup will be going into Usubeni, who...
Так, тест аудио, раз, 3, 4, 5.
Bam. Quite get the job done, obviously, but
Так, тест аудио, раз, 3, 4, 5.
That some of the teams have done in the last few weeks against Shopify Rebellion, and who knows, maybe Shopify is just going to sit on that number one and have it the whole way through. So Lattice Oddball is going to be a good starter kit, and a best of three, a lot of time to work with to start the series off.
Absolutely. I think as we were talking about the Lattice Ball, you know, that type of map is pretty fast, so it's going to really set the pace for perhaps the start of the series at least, but then we step into Live Fire and Empyrean where there's a little more breathing space. So you tend to find that the teams that are really great on the quicker maps, there's almost like a bit of a break in pace towards those slightly medium to larger size maps. Lattice kind of sitting more towards the small size, like your Aquarius, like your Vacancy, I guess. Like we've had Vacancy a bit on the stream for all the series, but I've not had a chance to go through it, so I'm really looking forward to kind of talking through that once we get there. If we get there, if we get to the game 4, which I'm hoping we do. I'm hoping we get to the game 4, but Live Fire and Empyrean, really those medium style maps, Empyrean slightly going over to that larger style. So a real change of pace through these first 3 games, where, as I said, the objective style teams tend to do better on those quicker pace maps like the Streets Strongholds of days gone by, rather than the Slayer Live Fire. So we're really going to have to see how the Slayer kind of moves into the Lattice game that we're about to get.
Gotta see where all these guys are finding that pacing today. It's been some great overall gameplay from the last couple of days. Heck, the last few weeks. We had the LVT land just last week. We had a couple of opens to start off the entirety of this month. literally first day of March. And we march along into some momentum, some halo, some good oddball on lattice. It's going to be at least a micro BO3, a couple rounds to be able
Ну
to
что,
win it.
погнали.
You got an S7 at the top of the entire map that everyone will be fighting for general control. Gotta be curious where they're going to try and sequester their opponents. QT opposite end of this, as well as just the ability to rotate around. So if you're looking towards this map, well, we're in and live with you. Upper four, who's going to be able to qualify and go into lower finals? Let's start with game one.
Straight off the bat, rotating that ball around when the sniper respawn comes in.
Предсказываю 3-1
Have a massive impact on the
в пользу
ability to keep
LG,
those
в пользу
objectives,
команды
keep the snipes,
Trippy.
Falcated, dropping that on the back of blue. And then someone moving around tried to pick that up too. So we really need to keep that sniper in hand there. Teams will play around the red tower, but they will move over to blue if they can sync up that spawn.
Interesting that we're also seeing an immediate pickup from off of Rip. You see a lot of squads, they like to set the spawners as your first starter kit for a lot of these oddball games. But Luminon decided, you know what, we're going to change the paradigm shift of this entire thing, and we're going to bring it over to red side. But in the same capacity, Inconceivable, they went for snipe first, took that pressure, and even though they drop at least a few points over into Inconceivable's hands, they're now trying to force them away. So off of this window and pipe split, Sabinator playing as the decoy, but the old Scarecrow getting burned up as Descendant trying to get themselves a double kill. Now they got a boomstick to boot.
Dropping the second player on that melee. I think we all expected a trade as that came through there, but that means the ball will get in the hands of Luminon again. They've got a very small lead here in the early part of the game. But even small moments like that with the sniper, with the trade not going through, that can have an impact on like how the dominoes fall for the next couple of seconds. So Inconceivable need a bit more time to come around and get all four Spartans on, but Falcate going down. Penguin cleans up the kill there for the trade. 2 down for Luminon. They're just trying to keep the pressure on here just while they can get some form of coordinate pushed together, and it's coming in now.
Interesting utility position out of Descendant. You saw him all the way beyond that ice rock and kind of hanging out from that backside of that platform. And they might have gotten a stick. No, they do get an assist as one player drops out. Penguin at the receiving end of that. But 3 go down for Luminon Gaming as Inconceivable gets a full-fledged rush out onto this open area. Trying to win the quick bust of knuckles into one another. Falcated helps his teammate out. Luminon Gaming is at least pushed away by the landlords of Inconceivable as they own out ice. So they're got at least half this lead down. Sabinator holding on to this rock because they want to rotate back up ramp. But look how they're just basically pincering in from both sides. But half strength Descendant is trying to do it all himself. The rest of his teammates are end up dying out, and now he joins them.
Let him cook.
Oh,
Let him cook.
Falcated was hiding behind the little ship on ice, and Descendant and Talek had no idea that he was hanging there. The patience that he needed to not shoot Descendant in the back, going through big door there, to not really reveal his position. And I thought that Descendant got the drop on him out of vent there, but Falcated still managed to kill him there as well. So nice patience from them. They got them back up to nearly even, but the flank's coming back round through from Luminon here. So another small hold for them. Penguin might be able to do something, but he's going to have to wait for his teammates to come forward.
Luminon has found scores in chunks, whereas Inconceivable has been slowly just picking and pawn at what they got. Trippy and company are going to actually hide behind what they have as they push at least one. It takes 2 plasma nades and a quick repulse to send them to the wall. Sabinator is the only one surviving as there's 2 players from Luminon right around this ramp end, and now they're gaining ground. Talek, he's becoming a statistic at the other end of Sabinator's gun. Trippy has a QT online, and now no longer as at least one rush up of the cavalry comes through. Still about 20 points gained in that iteration. Falcated has to deal with death from the sky as precision comes in.
You can really feel the pressure on this map as we have this small lull as the ball rolls down to bottom of the river area there. QT being so impactful. We saw Trippy just lose it moments ago there. The spawns on this map are so close, and the way and the speed at which it rotates is so fast that having QT and using it effectively can really stop pushes in their tracks here. Great little cleanup from Precision going around, stopping any push while his teammates are down, though he does leave Luminon now with 3 up. The other team's 3 up as well. So QT going to be a little more instrumental, perhaps, than what we've seen so far here. The round monkey man really even. I want to see more of this equipment used to get those edges on it. As I said, QT super instrumental. Get some flanks, get the right position. You need to see it.
You get to see it a lot when it comes to live fire, and sometimes it's picked up as an afterthought here on Lattice. Now it's been used a lot more often to be at least a kind of a play-making utility. That ends up dropping out to the low side of River. So with 2 down for Luminon, trying to play defense as they can. This one's hanging out from that big door just on the side of red. So Inconceivable has been doing very well to at least nip at the heels of Luminon. good old LG is living good as they have not allowed Inconceivable to really gain ground. This is going to go to a neutral play ball. It will reset to top mid. And it looks like they kind of planned for that.
Толя как
Inconceivable
сразу
goes
всё.
3 down, and it looks like they're set up to get another possession.
Penguin going down there really staggered those respawns. And Suppress being top mid gives them a little bit of power. Look at Descendant now, trying to do what Falcator did to him earlier. Just waiting in the back there, stopping the spawns on that side of the map, but also catching anyone who's, I'm not going to say dumb enough, but brave enough to run across the middle there. And it also gives Trippy an escape route if they need it. Look at them pushing up from Red Tower now. So they can take the fight here. Talek's going to come in and try and get the flank. Should clean up Penguin if he doesn't get interrupted. We'll have to see that on the desk screen at the top there. And it gives them the space to move around if they want to. It's giving them options here. And options has got them to this point where they have the 77 points on the board versus the 55. Look at that. 2v1. Doesn't matter if we go for the trade. God knows how we survived. And then Sab comes in. So they should be able to hold this in position for a little bit or get the ball to reset.
Eating out Precision's previous placement. Now Trippy, the only one left. Wants to make sure they don't get caught on the opposite side of the map, and these guys Suppressed to have to deal with. And as they're forcing them to that top side of Lattice, it is what, 23 points left to go here for round number 1. Talking about how dead even this is. They are down by about 17 points, but the slays have been aplenty for either side. 3 out. Talek now joins them temporarily 4 as Inconceivable finally gets hands back on the skull. It's been basically living towards this ramp. This is exactly how many teams run this by design, to be able to have an access point to escape to green, as well as have a good look at that sniping position. It looks like for the first time, we're going to be at tie, and finally with a chance for Inconceivable to possibly hold on and build upon this lead late term of round 1.
Absolutely. And Luminon having the staggered spawns there has really delayed that last 4-man push that they can have. And this rotation over to blue is really good as well. They're trying to get Luminon to spawn down on that red where the C objective is in strongholds. And look, there they are. So really good rotation from them. Penguin in a great position. They're really going to have to haul it across the map to do anything here, but I'm not sure they can. This is going to have to be super aggressive, and even if they get it, you're going to have to play the ball and then you get sniped anyway.
Points left to go. Perfect. It was very clinical. Inconceivable comes on back. This ends up getting played. Everyone is out. So this is the problem. Luminon Gaming, they can do the exact same thing unto Inconceivable that they were doing to them, but they get chopped down. The guillotine comes through. That's going to be Trippy having to rely on his teammates. Still, a minute's approaching. A minute to win it. As this ball's underneath that S7 spawn. It's tough to be able to go and recover. You're going to have to wait for another 15 seconds if you really wanted to reset. It is all up to Descendant, trying to get his LG squad back into this fight. Round 1 is going to end on a burner.
Oh, they have everything they need in position here. The respawns over the side of the map, but the only thing missing was the security to pull that ball, and Falcator getting the shot on Descendant there isn't good. They're going to push around to pipes here, and with only 30 seconds left on the clock, they have to fight this. And while it's happening, Inconceivable can just be really cheeky and pick up the ball. Sam thinks he can do that, and he wins the fight as well. No way does he win that. But then Trippy takes someone's head up as well. It's all to play for here. The clock will freeze if they pick up the ball, Monkey Man. If that happens, Luminon can take the round if they can get a bunch of slays. But at the moment, it's not looking like they've got the manpower to be able to do it.
They're slaying them back. The troll toll needs to be paid by Luminon Gaming into Inconceivable's hands, and that's just not going to happen. Is a tax far too expensive, the premium too high. And Inconceivable, that one play to finally trip up the entirety of what was fighting nonstop on red ramp, ends up with a flip towards blue, with a dub now for Inconceivable. So round number 2, Luminon Gaming. Do they shift the dynamic of what they did that entire previous game? It feels like we get these micro metas that form through these rounds of oddball, and that one, as soon as it was flipped sideways, it was LG that just didn't have an answer.
Yeah, the rotation from Penguin at the back end of that round there. The way the team played together really locked in that round for them. And then the Slayers at the end too, so if they can keep out for this round, it's looking good for them. Just have to be careful earlier on. Luminon did have a good hold early. They were spawning them really well around the corners, around the other side of the map. And Descendant was kind of taking a page out of Falcator's book, and they started to get the drop on a few spawns as they went around as well. But 3 players do go down for Luminon here, which is going to give them perhaps the opportunity to move that ball to somewhere they want to be, and they're choosing back blue where the sniper rifle spots. And they've got QT as well.
Great utility and great positioning. Take advantage of putting Luminon Gaming on the other side of the map, and so playing much more to that reset side. This one a little bit more common, but Inconceivable and company, they know that Be able to jump in and take advantage of this as well. Nice jump in, jump out, great fadeaway. Trying to be able to use that QT. They want to support their teammate, don't even need to. They end up getting taken out by Talik. And that's Falcated all by the Lonesome and somehow had escaped the chaos.
Wow.
Rotating just when all of it Luminon Gaming had come in, and they cheekily were able to sneak away.
Oh, and then he gets his head taken off as well. I was just about to talk how good that play was, where he timed the respawns to come in, get the squad spawn on backseat, get the ball over there, escape from the previous fight. It was really well executed. But no, he finds the S7 to the visor. So, you know, ball has exchanged hands here. Trippy trying to do something. They're trying to get some form of hold here. Spawn's coming around from the other side. There's going to be a huge fight in red at the moment. They need to make sure they push round to the ice side here to get a team shot. But Sab's faking them quite well here, and the first bullets start to come in. So huge push from ice coming through. They need to push together. Sab goes down, and they've got a flank here, but suppressed. Monkey Man is too late.
Just a step away from all of his buddies going down. Not at the party, and now he's staggered. That means it's a 3 versus 4 for about 10 more seconds. Luminon Gaming, what a rush it was. Sab is trying to just do what he can. You know, one-man army, and see if they can be able to trip up some of these LG players. Send it from that upper position. Oh, should be able to at least wipe one clean. He knows that he has a Spartan hurt for another 4 seconds. See if he can be able to chase him down. Good defense. The send is going to be on this upper rafter. Sab is hoping he can catch him just from underneath. He's going to get a back tap. Ooh. That's going to be a box down. Can be able to get a double kill. Talik is going to find separation because of a repulsor. This rock has stayed towards that ship. So now, as Inconceivable takes up onus to this half of the map, Luminon Gaming still gained ground. They're short of it by 10 points, but Inconceivable's back at it.
They are indeed. And they opted to keep the ball over on that red side, knowing that Luminon would spawn over on blue, but that means that they gave away the S7. So the sender has the snipe. Suppress thinks he can get the drop on him. Doesn't work out as he plans. The one shot does get him, but can't land the last one. Penguin, the only player alive for his team. But if he wins this, that means potentially squad spawns, on the Eli side of the map. It's a good rotation from Talet, though. Puts the ball in a neutral space, but they have to fight now. All the Spartans are on the map. They have to go. This is an excellent flank from them, and it's setting them up potentially for what could be their next hold of the game, with 2 players down and the split spawns coming through as well. But no, Falcated is on his own.
Толик, давай, Толик, ну.
A bit of extra spice. Talik will have to retreat back. Inconceivable drops 2 as Luminon Gaming has taken up position on top mid. This ball, as soon as they had bugged out from that red side to maybe start escaping towards those crates in green, they decided, you know what, we're going to just
Толик жжет.
wait on Inconceivable to run down that blue end. Wasting a couple of big bullets into a player that didn't know they were
Они
there.
уже даже сравняли игру.
Could have maybe ended that fight just a little bit sooner. Had some ammo for later. Precision's going to go underneath. See if he can catch anyone unawares, and this is now over halfway for Inconceivable to be able to take the second round and maybe turn this into a sweep of this first oddball.
It's been a little back and forth this round, and that's primarily because the fights have been so scrappy. We're hardly getting any time whatsoever where there's not a fight somewhere on the map. And I know that Lattice is quite a small map, but these players are rotating so fast and leaving so little space because of the way the spawns work on this map, and you'll constantly have players spawning behind you. It's almost like streets dialed up to 11. There is no time to stop, and teams usually find setups using Red Tower and using the back of sort of this side of the map here, where the center of talent coming from here, but it's just so relentless. There's this space for proper setup and proper times has long gone, and we can see that by how many deaths we've had in this game already. Speaking of which, 4 players down for Inconceivable there. That's not happened for a while. And Luminon, they get themselves the ball, and potentially here 10 or 15 seconds before the next real push can come in.
It'll be just enough to be able to grab this lead, and they do so. It's been a while since they've had that, and the difference of definition from that first round to this one is about how it started. The first minute, actually the first 10 seconds that Luminon Gaming came into round number 1, they grabbed that ball and they set up shop. For this round, it was the slay mechanism turned on to 100 as everyone went just trying to reset spawns in aggressive instances. Now being pushed aside is Talik as he joins 2 of his teammates, Precision being the only one left on the map. He's going to aim to clean up at least a couple, gets one, has a killing spree, but that's going to be a killjoy right there as they want to grab this lead back, maybe some more, as it's 87 points to Luminon Gaming, but they're maybe coming up just short one more time.
I don't know if you noticed that there, but they could have just run for the bottom of C, but both Taulek and someone else on the team, they waited. They've got QT and look, they're now pushing. As a 3, they think they have the time, but the nade shot quite suppressed, clean off the map. S7 coming back from Sabir as well, so lots of coordination. Luminon really managed to pull it back here. They are starting to take that time to consider the risks of playing so quickly, and it's paid off. They've managed to pay off. Delaying that push got them to this position now. 4 players up. Descendant has the ball. Inconceivable about to get staggered if Valkator can go down here, but he doesn't. But I don't think it matters. I think this round, I think it's over. I think we're going to a round 3.
Talked about how even this was. Well, round 3 is about as even as you can get into an oddball. Luminon Gaming, as soon as this turned into more of a slay fest, they had to slow things down. And every time they're able to sweep at least 3 players into one big push, they've been able to win those fights. And Inconceivable now gets staggered back. Onto their heels, but still into the fight. Who's going to be able to take this first game? Got another 5 minutes on the neutral clock as Inconceivable is trying to bully back Luminon.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to break a rule on stream here. I'm going to do caster math. Luminon are slightly ahead in slays here, not by much, but they are slightly ahead, which definitely changes the tone that we had from the first round of the game. So very much rocking from one side to another here. And again, how chaotic this feels. Valkator just desperately scrambling away with his life. This is a super aggressive move. Did not expect him to push across like that, but the rest of his team comes through. It's so strange. You can feel the pacing between both teams now compared to earlier where they were both going really quickly. It's broken up so much. And the way that they're hanging around corners, and Penguin just takes Precision's head off as well. The way they're hanging around corners here is so different to earlier in the game, and we're seeing what's happening with that by no players really being able to hold the ball. But even now, the position of plays, Penguin's got the sniper and the ball. I don't think he expected to be in this position.
Not at all, especially considering that he's holding up the S7 kind of his responsibility. Able to take out one, making another one. He's able to hit him in the shin. Descendant is just going to hide. There's a call out to a teammate, but Valkator isn't there in time as he was the one with the crossfire, and so they end up losing out a player. Penguin dropped that S7. Taulek is going to be into that backside corner. That was an interesting room position that they had that ball. They held it for all of about 5 or 10 seconds into that green room. An odd position that they had not been in before because it was mostly an escape rope to try and rotate from that outside of red. So finally now, we're mostly congregating towards this blue side. Luminon Gaming went out on some individual fights. And like you were mentioning, you kind of need a neck brace with the way that we're going stop and go, stop and go. There's a lot of whiplash in the way that we're getting some of these skirmishes.
It is indeed, and I think I'm not going to call that an early. No, I am. That play from Chica there was a little early. Probably had some comms and context that we didn't quite have there, but he could have milked the ball for a couple more seconds, and I think maybe he thought he could try and trade out there that fight that happened in top pipes. But interesting here, Inconceivable as well. They're staggering their play here, not playing super aggressive. Perhaps waiting for Penguin to come up off screen as well. Valkator going down. So again, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but the pacing between both teams here is so staggered. It's almost like you're expecting the push, and then it doesn't come through, and then somehow, some way, there's another Spartan somewhere else coming through. So I agree with what you're saying with the whiplash here. Precision is trying to move the ball away to try to get this back to that blue area of the map, back to that safe area. And while he's trying to do that, his teammates have gone out and started killing Inconceivable as well. So it's just pure, it's not chaos, but it's not exactly the structured and regimented discipline that you maybe would expect on a map like Lice, where it's so small that you can lock down areas. Look how many people are out in courtyard, man.
Double kill.
Well, a couple less people at the hands of Trippy. Nice double onto Penguin and suppressed. Gonna get an assist to make sure that they are consistently staggered, and Luminon Gaming is just hanging out to this courtyard position. Sab rather is gonna get knocked out by a sidekick, and Inconceivable just feels like they're dropping into the party uninvited as Luminon Gaming, regardless of this being kind of an informal situation for them, just being unable to kind of get these main setups. I mean, they're winning out on the fights that matter. A lot of this time has been burning off the clock. Around 2:15, neither team has been able to get to 50 points. Last time that we got to see something like this in our previous open, it ended at like a 60-30 score line. I would not be surprised if we end up seeing more and more of this pressure out of both Luminon as well as Inconceivable to try and take over mid, and then just this boiling down to who can outkill who, and the ball just as an afterthought.
I think if I'm on the side of Luminon right now, that Slayer for the rest of the game, that's starting to feel real good and real likely, considering the fact that we've had to go all the way to this point to get to round 3 with a minute and a half left, and the absolute slogfest that was the first 2 rounds that are in here. I think we're heading towards a Slayer here, and you can tell Luminon, they're kind of staggering it out. Precision's just like kind of turtling down at the bottom of River here, just waiting for someone to fall into his grasp. They're not playing aggressive. Sab finds out someone's hiding there. Luckily had the QT, because he would have definitely died if he didn't have that right there. But their patience hasn't really paid off as they expected. Inconceivable taking the ball into red, holding Eli, and the cards are starting to fall here. There's a minute left and 12 points. This is starting to get scary, because Inconceivable could spin the game round and be like, no, do you know what? You guys can play into us. We're going to slay you because we've got the lead now.
Ball's hanging all the way back. It feels like one set of slays to reset some spawns, and Inconceivable might be able to walk their way into a win. That's why they're holding this one all the way back door. They don't mind if it resets. They go out to mid, but Luminon Gaming has actually baited them over into that double door, and they're going to aim for points. There's just a little bit more points to be gained than there is time, and they decided that the math is not mathing that, especially as this fight is coming up. It ends up being 1 down. As they rush to it, open ice, and yet again with 3 falling out for Luminon Gaming. Inconceivable, they've got to lurch about 5 more seconds, and they'll be able to take this lead. Falcated and company, looks like they're in an unbreakable loop, and Luminon Gaming has to act fast.
This is where the game comes down. It's to the wire here. The first to fall if it's not answered. Sab getting that first kill, Descendant going down there. Look, the dominoes, I was about to say, the whole house of cards just falls there. And now we're entering the danger zone where there's only 1 or potentially 2 pushes left. Inconceivable going to extend their lead here and stalling the clock, waiting for the respawns. It might be one of those things where you go back in VOD review and think, should we have done that? Because they have all of the space now. If they'd have dropped the ball, there'd be 20 seconds left. And if they lose this fight, which they might because Falcated's on his own, this is where this is not going to feel good. He needs to stay alive, but Trippy just finds him and just takes him out of the game. But he did stay alive long enough for the respawns to come back in.
30 seconds left to win it. Able to have that possession. Trippy has been so impactful. They're even 500 at 38 and 38. A couple 40s have been broken over already by Suppressed and Sab. Inconceivable does not want to let this one go. Trying to be able to get at least 1 man. Does not get a trade. There is still some bullets left in that S7. They're going to be rushing into ramp. Falcated is trying to be impactful. He's got someone to back him up, but they're both weak. That ball is loose, and now it's picked back up. A nice double kill from Anatolic, but still, it's going to be Penguin that comes in to ruin the party. 20 seconds left. It's going to be easier to let the clock run out than it is to get those points. They're going to try and force this ball to the north side of Lattice as Penguin continues to play keep away from Luminon Gaming. They've got 10 seconds left.
Oh, this is so infuriating if you're on the side of Luminon. You're just casually throwing the ball around. They got 4 seconds. Tripp is the last alive. That's all she wrote. That's the first game. That rotation there to keep them away after they lost that team fight. Man, you're so annoyed if you're on the other team right there after that. That was so well executed. That's twice they've got the rotation on them like that on ice.
If Penguin isn't there to back up that fight after Tolic gets that double kill, they get those points and Luminon Gaming wins. Penguin able to get there just soon enough, just enough to then force that one away, makes the heads up play, able to drag Luminon by the leash, and they just never get to make it back. Look at how close this was across our 3 separate rounds, 245, 244. I know that's not a cumulative between them, but that's the line of delineation between these squads. Inconceivable takes game 1.
It's just crazy, isn't it? When you look back, it's literally 1 point that takes the players out, and it's that 1 point where you think, at some point in that game somewhere, could I have held the ball up for slightly longer or played it slightly longer, and would that have made the difference? Hard to tell, but that's what VOD Review's for, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of that going on between now and the 27th of March.
A lot of studying going on. I'm going to crack open a book. It felt like this was going to be the game winner, and as soon as they brought it up onto that ledge, Penguin just hunted them down. I know that penguins are carnivores. I just don't expect them to be so, so aggressive to go and hunt like that. But I guess they just treat Talek like krill and gobbled them right up. We go over to Live Fire Slayer. There will be another sniper over this way. Some camo, some good looks. And, I mean, if you're looking at that lattice, everyone was showing up to play. There was no lack of slays. I think at the point that you had said that they were dead even, I think it was like 106 to 108 slays on either side at the beginning of that round 3.
Man, the pace is really going to have to switch up here because Lattice is so much faster than Live Fire, and while the S7 is going to be the main character on the map for the next kind of 8 minutes once we load in, the camo and the other stuff that's going on, you can't play Live Fire that fast. There's too many things going on. So, I mean, are we going to see this kind of gameplay on Live Fire at this point in the bracket, or are we going to see a bit more discipline and a bit more rotation between A and C between them? I genuinely don't know, because that Lattice game was insane.
It's going to be a fun one regardless. Remember, everyone that's here right now and for the rest of this broadcast has made the top 4, but it's about where you're going to be into this bracket. So, interesting enough, we do at least have a set piece of what we saw into those upper semifinals. Luminon Gaming, they could not handle Usubeni and got 3-0'd by them. And Usubeni is waiting for whomever's going to come out on the other side of this. Inconceivable is trying to be able to get their way through the mid and green. So we'll see if there's going to be some change of history from what recently was, what may have to be. And I like what we had from the early plays. It felt like Luminon Gaming was definitely testing Inconceivable, but finally breaking into the house. And that B&E got them some cool treasures from out of the old box in the back. So Luminon Gaming, they do just enough, but Inconceivable feels like they found them by just an inch more. So, I mean, if this one was even, Adam, I feel like some slays late term are going to be even cooler when we hit Live Fire eventually.
Oh, absolutely. And I really think that some of the wraparounds that we saw, some of the flanks that we saw on this map, the teams are really getting good at spotting the gaps where they're expecting things. Like, we see it all in, like, ranks. Like, anyone who's in the chat, like, if you play ranks and you play kind of like Diamond Onyx, you're used to the old flankerino, like, knowing someone's going to kind of wait for you to spawn and push around. But, like, these guys, like, they're playing at such a pace, they can still predict it. They know where they can sit, that it's safe. And they know when it's so urgent that you won't check the corner because you don't have time. So they're going to sit in that corner, and multiple times this game, those types of flanks really changed the flow of what was happening. And moving into Live Fire, where we've said we've got the camo, we've got the QT, we've got the S7. There's so many locations where you can kind of do that to people. It's really going to make the edge on this. And one thing I just remembered that we didn't talk about when the scoreboard was on, and I'm throwing like real far back here, but Trippy actually had, oh, there we go, highest kills and highest ball time on his team. Taulek only missing out by 3 kills in 1 second. So Trippy and Taulek absolutely put the work in there for Luminon, and they only just missed out. So they're really ready, warmed up, and, they're going to do everything they can to get this to a 1-1.
And to put even more impactful what you were talking about for basically some of the wraparound skis, the most dangerous man, and especially a game like this, and see it a lot into attack shooters as well, is the one that's forgotten, the one that cannot be seen. I mean, question mark pings into your MOBAs. Hey, where's this guy at? Missing, gotta find him. That would have been happening a lot into this matchup, because if you would suddenly be like, why is it so calm? Why is it so quiet? And then there was 2 to 3 players rushing it down. That happened a lot from LG's side. Inconceivable kind of bided their time. They would go 1s and 2s up into the middle of the map to take a lot of those fights. They would end up basically jungle gymming over a lot of the architecture. And then they end up just being able to take over, especially late term. So making use of when it mattered and forcing kind of that stagger of focus from Luminon Gaming. We are waiting for one player to come back in. So if you guys are wondering why we're still yapping and it's not with gameplay, well, we have to get everyone into the lobby. So, technology and all of that. But it's gonna be a fun weekend when DreamHack Birmingham comes around. I need to know, Adam, are you gonna go over there? Are you gonna be able to check it out in person?
Oh, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be
Nice.
there, and I think we can say it now at this point, right? Can we? Like, I'm going to be there.
I don't know.
I'm going to be talking over some games if you go down there. So come say hi. Get to see the action firsthand. So I'm really looking forward to it. Love a good passion pit, and then we got all of Saturday to look forward to, playing out the rest of the bracket stuff, and then we got the champs Sunday. It's going to be great. Like, not really been to a full-scale event since Twickenham because getting over to the States was really hard as much as I would wish to. So it's going to be absolutely awesome. If you're traveling from this, are you coming? Are you?
I wish I was. I wish.
Oh,
I so wish.
Well,
one day.
Yes, and if I make it over to the States for one, I'm going to let you know. But if you are heading over from the States, if you're watching with us, then, you know, come say hi. Hopefully you have a great time. 4 weeks to go? 3 weeks to go. It's going to be a blast. But before we get there, it's time for Slayer Live Fire. We've talked about what we think is going to happen here. There's the main character on screen right now. You love it or you hate it, depending which side you're on of receiving it. But, you know, I think the sniper is going to be absolutely pivotal this game because the amount of shots that we saw on Lattice in that previous match, we had it in the highlight reel. This is going to be a blast. This is going to be so good.
QT's good for getting some information and also being a McNasty man in the back line. Will it be just as impactful here? Camo will join it out onto the field of play. They send 3 players all down into green. It's a fist fight in top mid. Trippy already gets that QT, teleports right back to safety as Falcade is trying to at least provide some flankeringskis out there. But Trippy finally picks up the S7. He's gonna get a stick. Oh, and he gets in, gets out, gets on with his life.
See you later, nerds. QT straight out and gets the snipe on him as well. Oh, that was such a good start from him there. Snipe in hand for a while, maybe. Bit of damage coming in. That was the flank around, or the push around to pillars there was great timing. Got his team snipe. Descendant's getting some heads off screen. That's his first kill on. And 4 kills ahead early on. Not much to talk about right now. It's very early, but, you know, that's a full padding of squad kills before you want to move on. They got the camo as well, so they got everything.
A nice little back tap. That's gotta hurt the most. You end up just kind of pushing out. You have to get some information, and then you're immediately punished. We've seen this happen a lot onto some Slayer, especially for live fire here recently, is as soon as you're down, knowing that you have to face off against someone that has that snipe, then you end up going and retreating, especially over into A. That one ends up running out the mag well, and so does the camo, as Precision and Descendant Trippy being the only man left. Now, still preserving his first life, is going to be one short of a killing spree for the time being. And Inconceivable has not been able to gain ground past the 4 and 5 kills. The rest of the squad comes back together, and they're going to start Hyena wolf packing out there. I know that's 2 separate animals, but they're laughing about it as they're trying to just be able to bomb these guys away.
All quiet on top mid there. And while we're having a bit of cleanup from Sab, I just want to say that camo play with Sniper, giving all the chips to Descendant into bottom A on the window, and then whiffing the 3 shots and losing camo. Like, even with a score advantage right there, like, if you lose this game by 2 points, that is the moment you lost the game. That is, I don't want to flame, but that is like borderline unacceptable to like something like that happen. Camo and Snipe goes in, does nothing, and then dies. Yeah, okay, moving on.
The good news is that it was very early in the game. Late term, added to the old study of how not to do it. This ends up being a reset. Everyone's still in the lobby. Maybe there was some kind of artifact issue. So we'll come out of this one and we'll get prepped for the next. So it was 17-15. I'm not exactly sure where the score was whenever the reset had to happen. We'll come back to it. So you guys know as much as we do. Let's get an early look. Why not? We're here. Precision was looking decent. The one player that I had put a lot of onus to kind of watch as a primary Slayer and Descendant wasn't great in that early portion of Slayer. It takes him a little bit to kind of get off from being cold, even though they just did a full-fledged round 3 oddball.
Yeah, he did manage to get everything. This was great. The fadeaway, like, see ya, like, peace out. Bye. Love those kinds of players. I'm a big fan of the QTs. I think it is my favorite piece of equipment in this game. It's probably one of the best additions to Infinite from the other sandboxes.
Okay.
It's just different.
Looks like that. Hey, you guys are getting behind the scenes stuff. We had apparently not a great lobby, so making sure that the server is going to be just fine. It is an all-NA lobby from here on out, has been for at least couple of different terms. So see how all that changes up. If you were to bring back any one utility piece, we were talking about this in the green room. Next Halo, would you bring any of them back that we don't use anymore?
Is this from like any Halo game? Or is it
Any
just from-
Halo.
Oh,
Give me your favorite one that it does not exist anymore.
I can tell you the ones I definitely never want to see again.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Halo Reach Jetpack, get out of here. Ammo Hook, get out of here. Regen from Halo 3, get out of here.
Wow.
The Flare from Halo 3, get out of here.
Okay.
I feel like
Bubble shield?
the bubble shield I feel like is something that could be really cool. And in the other Halo games they tried like the hard light shield. Was that Halo 4 hard light shield?
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing they need to bring back, and this isn't my MVP, but I think hologram needs to come back.
Oh yeah, if they could fix that up, there needs to be a little bit of critiquing on that. I think they could look to almost like games like Titanfall and say that, you know, if you want to take like what they did with that. But I agree with that one.
There's so much trolling that you could do with the hologram, and they could make it like play a loud sound when you do it. So if you're close by, it's like quite hard to get the drop on someone, but you could so easily bait a snipe shot or like you could. It's like the mind games, isn't it? You could really bait someone with it, and it'd be really cool if you had like the oddball. Because then if you like use the hologram when you're holding the oddball, it puts two oddball icons up. I don't know. It's just really cool. But QT, hologram, obviously camo and overshield need to be in. I didn't like the speed boost in Halo 4. I thought that was pretty lame.
Oh, okay. Understood. Okay. All right.
What's yours? Go
You
on.
guys can tell us as well. Obviously, all of you are hating on their hologram pick. I'm sorry, Adam. People hate that idea. They all agree that the jetpack needs to be in. Isn't that right, everyone? No, everyone also dislikes that as well. So, I mean, look, what if? Okay, what if? Hear me out, Adam. Double jump.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Add a little jetpack, little doot doot. Yeah.
I think.
Maybe.
Hey, you know what? Double jump feels more balanced than jetpack. Like a vertical sprint kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
I like that. I can get behind that. I think that's cool because that opens up new routes. It's not egregious. It's like limited on the map. You can only use it so many times. That's cool. I like that.
Okay. All right. I'm glad something got received, at least well, because everyone just despised me wanting jetpack back. The balance of jetpack was that you were gonna absolutely die if you tried jumping from too high a height and activating it too late. It was like, it was like what the Titan jump from Destiny. Not a good idea.
Whenever I think of jumps in Destiny, I just think of the Warlock jump, like the only jump in a game where you go down.
Hey, look, that's not true. There's a blink, and you get one chance for it to work.
Ooh, that's a thought.
We are getting this lobby reconstructed, as you guys can see in real time right in front of us. We made sure that we got a, hopefully, knock on wood, fingers crossed, non-laggy server. So shout out over to our production that is able to provide us all the quick resets and all the coordination for these awesome players. We've had Meg, we've had Drax, we've had Infinity, and everyone able to just kind of work this one through. We're trying to go into game number 2, and I do wonder, did we get word, Adam, did you hear like whether or not we're going to be going full reset? Was there just something, issue in the middle?
I'm not sure. I think we'll find out when they boot the game here, but like you see Penguin in the chat saying, hey, can we have a full reset because it was laggy. We'll see. It's an admin decision on that one. I think on the rule book, I think they can have a full reset if both teams agree. But I'll need to sit down and study before I can confirm that 100%. So we'll have to hang tight and just kind of see what happens here, I think. But I know we're not playing Slayer Arena on Bazaar, I'll give you that.
Why not? Come on! Send us to Bazaar. Give me, what is it, it's not the boom shot. What's that? What's the lob shot gun in the game?
Cinder shot?
Yeah, give me Cinder. Throw a Cinder up in there. Look. Is there any world that you would allow for incendiary grenades to return?
Dude, I want all the Promethean weapons to come back. Like I talk
really?
about it. I love the boundary rifle. I love the what's the cannon, like the Forerunner big cannon rocket launcher thing? Incendiary cannon? I can't remember what it's called.
Oh God, yeah.
Like it was so, I felt like I was balanced. Like binary rifle is a one-shot kill, but you're broadcasting to the entire planet where you stood when you scope in. So.
There's a beacon above thine head. You are highlighted. You are seen. There's no way you should
light
be missed.
rifle. Bring back the old light rifle. Miss it.
Light rifle.
It just sounded great. It just sounded so good. I think all the Forerunner stuff's cool. I really liked the. For so long. Is it Scatter Shot that was the old name for the Forerunner shotgun, like the Promethean shotgun? What's it called in this game?
This is the heat wave now, but
yeah, it's the heat wave now, right?
Yeah, I think it was Scattershot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's very similar. I don't know. The heat wave Scattershot for so long on broadcast. People used to get really mad at me, like, what is he talking about?
See, I loved all of those weapons as PvP weapons, but then it felt like when you were using them in campaign, it was like throwing cotton balls at the Prometheans. Like it would either be fantastic or just majority of the time do nothing. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
apparently.
Speaking of weapons, man.
Yeah.
Where's the railgun at? Ooh. Where's the railgun at? Railgun lovers in the chat? You like railgun? I love railgun. That needs to come back.
Wait, what about Alien Sniper? You know,
Beam
Halo
rifle.
2 gang. Yeah, give me my stapler. Well, I guess the what is it? The Brute Sniper is actually the true staple gun.
Yeah.
But give me that one, man. Especially because you can just rapid fire, like rip those, and then you burn your hands. Like, come on.
I loved the. Oh my god! Right, anyone who's like over the age of 90 in the chat, like playing ranked snipers on Halo 2, and then you'd have the beam rifle, and then I can't remember what the sniper rifle. I'll just call it the S7. But like, you got the S7 in the other hand. You would do the headshot, and then if you were just full panicking, you would just do the double body shot with the beam rifle to get the double kill. Like, oh no, sorry, double body shot, no on it.
It's headshots only with you. What do you mean honor? It's in team snipes. Come on. All right. It does look like Trippy is requesting 17-15, so we'll see if that ends up being what it is. It does look like 15 and 17 have been input into our overrides, so that score will be where we will be starting from. An interesting starting point, Adam, because as full reset, they're going to still be rushing top mid. That doesn't reset the spawn timers, so we're going to be about a quarter of the way through this game already off of rip.
Yeah, and there ain't no way they're going to let that push from Trippy come through pillars again, and let them get the sniper and get camera. Like we're gonna have to see a different starting strat slightly here, because the way that Luminon were able to just take all the toys, and then let's not talk about how they threw them away in A like after that, right? But like they got like everything at the start of the game. Okay, so Inconceivable need to kind of consider how that happened. And maybe there was just something off screen we didn't see from a strategic point, maybe a stray grenade or someone just got tagged as they walked around the corner. But I think we'll see a different style.
So it was because I think at most it was a 1-3 rush, because there's no value to going to the camo early towards that turbine side, unless you want to basically just have like kind of a wild flank, because otherwise you're just kind of there. And this is where we currently stand, folks. So this was the pathway for success if you were to make top 4. And I mean, so many teams that still folks probably want to see at Birmingham. So that ended up falling along the way. I think that one of the greater surprises was not seeing kind of a upper 4 berth with that YBR. Gotta wonder if they still end up making it. And then, I mean, I've got to assume, Adam, that we're going to be seeing King's Order, Majin, and BH3. Like they're like it's a little, it's just a jump across the pond a little bit, right?
I would hope so. I'd be pretty disappointed if we didn't see some EU mainstays like that. I'm sure like other teams too, like Conspiracy would probably be there, right? Surely. I mean, I could go into the Discord, get the EU Sauna Discord out and be like, right, who's going? See how many like all these teams. But yeah, a lot of the names that we're saying here, like you would expect them to go. I really want teams from across the pond to get in on it, but like you guys have literally got like another month or so till it's the next one. It's
true.
Can't remember where it is.
Atlanta?
Maybe?
I don't know. Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah.
But yeah,
It'll be warm.
you always like to get EU, and then like we can't like you can't blame the ping then, right? Like we're all on 0 ping, so you know, come at me, bro.
The online warriors to LAN warriors. All right, you guys have listened to the Adam and Monkey podcast for the last 30 minutes. I appreciate your patience. We go back to Slayer. We start 17-15. A small wrinkle in what otherwise is going to be live and online. We've got a sniper in the top mid. Camo up in 30. We've got some squads that now know some opening strats. Are they going to do it all the same way? Let's kick it back in.
Different opening strat straight away. Look at this. On the other side of the map, going for the screens jump this time instead of sending Trippy around. Look, Penguin's going around too, so they're super aware of it, but there's 2 of them around the corner. I don't think that was expected. And it's pure chaos. Right there. I'm not going to say that. Whoa! I'm not going to say that when as we expected. Sit down. But you gotta change the strat off the rip, and Precision's doing what he can to keep his team in the lead with the sniper rifle. 6 kill lead, a whole 11 minutes left, sniper in hand, looking like a strong restart here for Lumen on camo as well.
Fantastic looks and fantastic change up of the script as they were able to use and still get back over into that sniper. A triple kill for the man that cannot be seen. Trippy making sure their name is highlighting at least into the scoreboard more often. And suddenly what was a 2-kill lead to begin